What's up, everybody? GeauxBurns, dragging myself up to the soapbox for another rant, as with tradition with almost every Sunday. Now, this is actually a very personal subject, radio, because I come from radio. That was my passion since I was in my teens, in my 20s. I spent several years in the radio industry, starting off as an intern and, of course, a part timer in promotions, doing weekend overnights, eventually moving my way up to being a board operator, to a nighttime DJ, eventually a midday DJ, even a music director. So I am very passionate about the radio industry, even though it's been taken over, corporatized, and shrunken down tremendously. Like once a nice big giant lake dwindled into a very small pond, which is why I'm no longer in radio. But I still love that medium with almost every fiber of my being. In fact, some of my best friends and mentors are still in radio, even though it's become more difficult to find jobs in the radio industry over the past several years. With that being said, I gotta say this. Laszlo has done a brilliant job helming the radio department at Rockstar when it comes to Grand Theft Auto. He's been doing it since Grand Theft Auto 3. I know a lot of people don't realize that. They just think of him as the voice of Chatterbox and Integrity and, of course, V-Rock back in Vice City. But there's more to Laszlo than his voice and his smart-ass comments, okay? So he is brilliant. And no, I'm not man-crushing on Laszlo right now. Okay, maybe just a little. But anyways, as a fellow radio person, I respect the work he's done since Grand Theft Auto 3. Grand Theft Auto 3, Grand Theft Auto Vice City, San Andreas, Grand Theft Auto 4, and of course Grand Theft Auto 5. So I think that the radio stations in Grand Theft Auto have been top notch. They've been awesome. The music, the production, the sweepers, etc. So I do not have a problem with that. In fact, I love Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online's radio wheel where you can select it, very similar to the weapon wheel. Plus, one thing I like that was lacking in Grand Theft Auto 4 is the off option. Because sometimes you don't feel like listening to music and you just want to shut it down and go up the GOH, drive down the highway or through the hills or Blaine County and just listen to everything around you, the roar of the engine, etc., etc. So, a whole bunch of stations were added to Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online. Channel X, East Los Santos, Fly Low FM, Los Santos Rock Radio, Nonstop Pop, Radio Los Santos, Radio Mirror Park, Rebel Radio, SoFlex or SoWax, I don't know which one's which, Space, Blue Arc, Lowdown, Vinewood Boulevard Radio, West Coast Classics, Worldwide, and of course the talk stations, one of which Laszlo does a show on. Alright, with all the ass kissing and butt licking out of the way, it's time to get to my critiques because, as most of you know in my rant videos, I try to play it down the middle. I talk about the good sides, the pros, and of course the cons, and then I come up with ideas on how to improve this or that. And radio in Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online is no exception. Now, as someone who enjoys listening to the radio stations in Grand Theft Auto Online, there are times when I would like to be able to take songs from this station and this other station and mix them together. Very similar to another open world game that actually was inspired by Grand Theft Auto, Saints Row. And they did this perfectly in some of their games. Saints Row the Third, and I think also in Saints Row 4. I could be wrong about that one. But anyways, what if there was an iFruit music section on the radio wheel where you could take music from, like I mentioned, various radio stations. For example, like some of the stations I like listening to, songs off Los Santos Rock Radio, Radio Mirror Park, Nonstop Pop, Space, Rebel Radio. I don't like all the songs on each of those stations, but the songs I do like, I would love to be able to, cherry pick them, move them over to, say, iFruit Music, and just listen to those songs without having to listen to all the other songs that I don't really give two shits for. That would be a really awesome feature that I would like to see added in Grand Theft Auto Online or in a future Grand Theft Auto game. My next idea to improve the radio on Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online is adding a quote-unquote XM type station. No, I'm not talking about worldwide. What I'm discussing here is adding the music from previous Grand Theft Auto games like Grand Theft Auto 4, Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, and Grand Theft Auto Vice City. Now, I realize there are copyright issues, which is why I didn't say, hey, we should have the ability to play whatever the fuck we want to play. I realize we can't do that on Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online, at least not on consoles, last or current gen. I believe there's a way to do it on Grand Theft Auto PC, along with the new station called The Lab, but I'm just sticking with last gen and next gen right now. So I realize that at the moment we cannot play non-copyright music while driving around in Grand Theft Auto 5 and Grand Theft Auto Online on consoles, obviously. But at the same time, it would just be really cool if Rockstar had the ability to keep those copyrights active for all the previous songs from all the previous games, as I mentioned, from Grand Theft Auto 4, San Andreas, and Vice City. The ability for us to go to like an XM station on the radio wheel and play those previous songs, or maybe some of them, maybe a top 10 or a top 20 or top 50 from previous installments of the Grand Theft Auto series. I realize chances are that's probably not going to happen, but a girl can dream, right? And my last issue is Laszlo. I really wish his show was just Laszlo and callers, not Laszlo being a sidekick to quote-unquote Michelle. I just would like to have a show dedicated entirely to Laszlo's weird, crazy, zany rants. Hopefully, in a future Grand Theft Auto game, they will allow Laszlo to have, once again, his own radio station, just like he did with Chatterbox in Grand Theft Auto 3, and Integrity 2.0 and Grand Theft Auto 4. Now, just in case Laszlo or someone from Rockstar is listening, first off, I'm not a stalker, and I shall deny it in court. Secondly, I do actually have a cool idea for a future radio station that Laszlo can be on. One where he has to do like a quote-unquote 24-hour marathon on the radio station, or 48 minutes in the game, where for the entire 48 minutes, Laszlo starts off somewhat normal, but as the minutes or quote-unquote hours pass by, the caffeine is starting to get into him, or the Molly, the etc., and he starts going really off the cup, really starting to lose it, getting wackier and crazier as the minutes and hours roll by. I don't know what the marathon could be for, maybe some fictional disease or some fictional charity event in the Grand Theft Auto verse. Maybe it's Australian war orphans, fame or shame has-beens, Vinewood porn stars, or Laszlo's legal defense fund.